Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of Car Talk. If you're new to the channel,
welcome guys.
Welcome. If you're not, well, welcome again. So this episode is again just on news and what's going on in the car community, but also for everyone that is new to the channel, we are holding a Cars and Coffee event on the 26th of October in Victoria Avenue, Castle Hill.
Make sure you're there, boys. End of the month, so make sure you're attending. Just
under Spotlight. It's a collaboration with Piccolo Spot, My Friend's Cafe, and the rebranding of the original channel, which was Sal and Cars, to the Motor Marvel.
Yep.
And in doing so, we're giving away.
Look at some of these.
30. Stand up, Nick. Show everyone the shirt.
Check them out, guys.
Yeah. 30 free shirts to give away. So if you're there early, you'll get one. If not, unfortunately, you
miss out.
You miss out. But you can also win.
Mate, we've been got a couple of sponsors who have come on board with us now, guys. So we've got Exhaust Notes that Sal's been working with for a while, and obviously doing his car reviews. They're helping us out on the day and helping us out with Motor Marvel moving forward. And also Hard Hat Watches jumped on board to sponsor us, so they're going to bring along a whole bunch of awesome prizes.
Yep.
So definitely make sure you're there. We've got shirts, prizes from Hard Hats, a whole bunch of stuff, guys.
So the prizes, we're going to give away a prize for whoever's attending. So it'll be a raffle, completely free. There's no money. Just grab a ticket when you get there, and you'll go on the chance to win something. And the best car on the show.
Yep.
Stay tuned with the Instagram because I will be uploading what the prizes consist of. I'm going to tell you now, but I've already know what they are. I'll wait to release it on Instagram. Build some suspense. Why not?
That's it. Sounds good.
Let's get on to the first topic, which is
Sal's favourite.
So if you're not from Australia, unfortunately, there have been a lot of Karens complaining about American pickups in Australia.
Yep.
And I personally am on the side of the guys who own the pickups. I feel like they've worked their bums off to make a good living.
Yep.
And they deserve to own the truck of their dreams.
Their choice. They want to buy it.
Yeah.
They should be able to.
Yeah. And me and Nick have been speaking about this, that there's the reasons why they want to ban them are so stupid.
Doesn't make any sense, right? They're talking they're too big for the roads.
Which, if they're too big for the lanes, they're illegal.
Yeah.
So
they got to comply, right?
They got to comply.
Yep.
So that's out of the rules, right?
Yep.
The other thing is they destroy our roads. Our roads in Australia are already destroyed.
Yeah, and it's not by pickups. It's by your construction, heavy lifters. It's from all the
development sites.
Development sites, yeah. Your trucks, your buses, everything else. You can't really say pickups are destroying our roads, guys.
It's a bit voided.
Yeah.
And then the third thing, which really infuriates me, they're scary. That's a you problem, not the truck's problem.
Yeah, and again, when we talk minorities, people having problems, do we need to ban an entire thing for a small portion of people?
Speaking about that, I know I don't want to get politically incorrect, right? But we bend the rules for minority groups, and no one blinks an eye. But when it comes to these guys, everyone they have to get rid of the trucks. Why? Yep. They're only a small amount of group. They're not on the road. There's not heaps of them.
No,
there's just a few. There's a handful of them. Yep. And honestly, I don't want to intimidated by them.
No, and look, when we've talked about this, if someone wants to buy it, it's if they can't fit it in the city and they can't drive it around,
parks, that's their problem.
That's
and you know what? And the guys do that. They park outside of car parks. Right? When I had 2 for review, that's what I had to do. Park them outside of a car park. Yeah. I was fine with it.
It's
and honestly,
your choice.
They weren't that bad.
Yeah.
Doing a 3-point turn does turn into a 20-point turn. I get that. But honestly, I did not find them that stupidly large, and they actually drove really nicely.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty great vehicles these days. I mean, there's a lot of them in the US.
Yeah.
I don't even feel like we've got many here. You see the occasional big Ram or something, but really, they're not populated on our roads a lot.
So. And if you are scared of them, then just become a better driver. It's that simple.
It's that simple, yeah.
Right? But a buddy of mine did mention that, having him in the city can be a bit stupid, and I agree on that.
Yeah.
We've agreed on that.
Yeah.
Owning one of those in the city is like having a horse in your backyard.
Yes. Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. No.
All right? But in the suburbs, having the truck in the suburbs makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense. I agree.
Right? So, for everyone out there that is intimidated by them, moral of the story is, I'm sorry, guys, just be a better driver.
I mean, let them have them.
Let them have them.
Yeah.
Honestly. But let's move on from that and let's get on to topic 2.
Sounds good.
So, we're on to the RCF Coupe Prototype. So this has been stirring in the community at the moment. It's been, doing its rounds.
It's a pretty great looking car.
One, it's great looking. And number 2, what is astounding about this is not just only is it going to have a 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol turbo motor that produces 600 horsepower.
That's a lot, isn't it?
But it's a manual.
Yeah, manual. Keeping the manual where a lot of other companies, we're talking the other day too, BMW, moving on. A lot of cars are doing the same. Porsche only brought back manual for the GT3 because it was enthusiasts going, you need to bring it,
Are they making them for the GTS still and the Carreras?
My understanding is not like they're pretty much done, but I could be wrong. I just know for the GT3s in particular, the current gen, last manual.
Wow.
They're not doing it on the point 2.
See? So Lexus is doing something out of the ordinary.
Yep. Which I think is quite surprising for Lexus. It's not something that I would expect them to do.
Well, they're producing some very interesting cars lately. Like, I think Lexus is trying to build their performance division again.
Back a bit in the performance division.
We both saw the teaser of the LFA.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I think we're all pretty excited
so
about that one.
We don't know for sure if it is an actual LFA successor, but it was doing laps around I don't know what circuit it was doing, but it did sound like a V8 twin turbo. So we don't know, but people are speculating that it might be the LFA successor. Yeah. And them doing this makes me start to wonder, maybe Lexus is trying to enter the high performance round properly this time.
Do you think manual's still the place to be with a sort of car like this in this modern day?
Well, manuals are the driver's cars. We all like them. I personally, if I'm going to have a car that's got that much power, I'd like a manual. I want a manual. I like that. I like the connection that you have with the car. Yeah. Now, I get like what you said to me a long time ago that having for track purposes a PDK, for example, on a Porsche.
If you're talking purely track
times, yes, you can't beat it. I agree, 100%. But if you're talking about driver involvement, you can't get past driving a manual.
There's something special about it, isn't it? We've talked about this again multiple times.
Your Lotus.
The driver engagement you get from just having that extra pedal, having that gearbox, being able to do that, it's just a different feeling in a car. For enthusiasts like us, that's always fun. Yeah. And I think having cars like this that are still doing that, you've still got your options, right? Yeah. If you really don't want a manual, there's other options out there with this sort of performance that doesn't. 100%. But you've still got the options of some manual, and I still think it's good that some manufacturers are making some cars with them and keeping the enthusiasts excited about some of them coming.
Yeah. So. And Lexus doing this is just like, hat off to them. Like, it's a bold move from them. Honestly, good on them, and I can't wait till it comes out. The only problem is it's a concept. So we don't know if it will hit production.
And look, I've got a question for you too that you might be able to help me with. Can Lexus make a good manual?
Actually, that's a very good point.
Can they?
We've never seen... I can't think of a Lexus manual. I'm trying to think.
I'd be interested to see. So I know it's prototype and it's talked about, but can they make a manual?
Are they borrowing the gearboxes off Toyota?
Surely.
Surely it's coming, but then...
And look, the Exige was a Toyota gearbox.
True, it was.
And it was a fantastic...
That was a fantastic
gearbox to drive. Yeah.
So that's a good point by Nick, is that we've never had a true Lexus. Is this truly coming from Lexus, or is it from the Toyota department? Yeah. So... who knows? We'll find out if it does come to production, which we're hoping. So Lexus, please make it, because that looks insane, and I really would love to see that in production.
Yeah, agreed.
Mercedes-AMG ONE has set the Nürburgring record. It's broken the record. It's done it in 6 minutes, 29 seconds.
Look at it. Now that is a pretty impressive looking vehicle, and you'd kind of expect by the way it looks that it should be breaking a record. And
it's incredibly fast, and yes. The thing is, it holds a record now. Now, later on in the podcast, there is a car that we both think might beat that.
Probably give it some competition.
But I still feel like that is an astonishing time. If you know if any of you know a lot about the Nürburgring, that's quick.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the Nürburgring is where obviously they're setting pretty much the precedent for these sort of cars. Yeah. Benchmarking them against each other, and obviously there's a lot of variables, but it's Nürburgring is one of the world-class tracks around there to do.
And one of the most dangerous tracks in the world.
Yes, well, talking about that, I was there last year doing some driving, and I think even on my sessions there was multiple cars. You'd be driving around and be one in a wall. You'd be driving around and one of them's broken down.
And if you want to watch compilations of people crashing, there's plenty on YouTube.
Plenty of them. And look, phenomenal circuit. Again, anyone I recommend want to go there, absolutely hit it up.
But yeah, so we thought we'd just add that into the news this week because we both thought that was pretty impressive. And another thing is, they're probably all sold out anyways. And they're probly worth...
I was going to say, and the price tag.
Yes, it's over millions, so...
Yep. But hey, if you've got one, let us know.
Let us know. Love to see it.
Love to see it, 100%.
Okay, the very controversial BMW XM. Yeah. Now, look, I had one for review. I personally liked it. I thought it was a bit absurd in terms of styling and all that, but what me and Nick both agree, because I brought it past the show, Nick.
Yeah, look, I'm a fan of the looks as well. Fan of the car.
Yeah. I thought it was very impressive for them to make a car that big move as well as it does.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not surprised it's not doing as well in sales, and that is not because it's an extremely fast SUV. It's the fact that when you're spending over $300,000 for one of those, you start to think of the other beautiful cars in BMW's lineup.
And there is some great cars, just not just from BMW, but other makers at the same.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're spending, what, over 300?
Yeah, well, like, think about this, like, that there, or a BMW M5 wagon, or M3 wagon.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but like, they're family cars.
They're going to probably do the same sort of job for the family.
Correct, because that can't go off-road, so that's already out of the question. So it's got nothing like on top of the M3 or the M5. It's the same kind of motor as the M5, still V8 twin turbo. Doesn't that, you know? There's both hybrids. They're both V8 because it's got the hybrid system. The M5's got the hybrid system. So really, you're paying for just more height and.
It's a cool car.
It's cool, but like, look, I personally think these fast SUVs are dumb. Like, I don't like the Urus. Sorry, I don't like it.
Look, they're ticking that box, Sal. I think for a lot of people that have already got their Porsches and already got their nice dailies and already got their cars, and on the weekends, right, they want to go out and take their wife, their kids and whatnot, and they want a cool car and they want something that hasn't been.
Why not just get a wagon?
But they like the statement too, right? It's these guys that, you're not talking about your everyday Joe. You're talking about people who've already got expensive, nice cars that will buy this. Yeah. I would highly doubt anyone's going to have this only car.
Yeah, I know.
So, when they got money to burn and they want a cool car, agreed, I still wouldn't buy it, but that's kind of where that market is.
When I see it, you've heard me say this before, when you see a four-wheel drive, right? When I see a four-wheel drive, I automatically think, does it go off-road? It does, cool, it serves a purpose, it's a 4x4.
Yeah.
If you can't go off-road, then what is the point of having a big car?
Because we're hitting that market where people just want that big, cool car with the family on the weekend. That's what they're for. It's not trying to kick the off-roading because you go a whole different road when you go down that.
I'm sorry, I personally don't see the appeal.
Look, I think the only appeal we see with these things, and one thing that BMW's been doing that we can both agree upon, is their designing, right? The amount of, you look at the M2 when it came out, the M3 when it came out, these cars, you look at it, they start out, everyone goes, oh, what is that?
Correct.
What does that look like? We don't like it. Or what's this? But then by the time you see one on the road, by the time you get your hand, you go, actually,
it looks.
These BMW designs they're doing, okay, are different, a bit polarising, but by the time you see it on the road, you know it's an M car. You can tell the difference.
And Nick and me have been speaking about this a lot. A lot of cars, manufacturers are designing cars these days that just are not eventful. They're boring.
Yeah,
right?
And it's same,
right? And look, we love Mercedes. Don't get me wrong. Mercedes fanboys don't get offended.
Yeah.
But we feel like they all look the same.
Oh, what, 200 to a 250 or to a 300, they're all
very
the same.
Different. C-Class to an S-Class, same.
Add an AMG line pack on.
Audi's the same. Audi's design language, the same across everywhere. Where with BMW, look, I know a lot of people, they think like, oh, they're disgusting, the designs are ugly. But I'm going to take my hat off to BMW because their design language, they're having a stab in the dark. They're going with cars, they're designing cars to look completely different, especially the M cars, that are different to the car that it's based on.
I think even just a basic design with these M cars, I think they're trying to go a little polarising.
Yeah.
I think they want to be different, they want to be a bit unique, and I feel like if anything, most of the time they're a little ahead of their time.
Yeah.
Because it takes, by the time people see that initial, oh, what is that car, released, till it actually arrives and you see it on the street, then you go, oh wow, I actually really like this. So I think they're doing really well with that.
It's like, if you see an M3, you know it's an M3. You don't consider it a standard 3 Series, you know for a fact that is an M3, right? I'm sorry, but unfortunately, Audis, unless it's an RS6, because yes, that's awesome design.
The only differential.
Right? But there are other Audis, I'll get in an SQ7 in a week's time. I'm sorry, but an SQ7 is not that much different to a standard Q7. It's just, I'm sorry, it's not. Right, design is pretty much
I think BMW is one of the only ones doing that. The other one we've been talking about, again, without being too big of fanboys here, but the Hyundais.
Hyundai having a stab in the dark, and you know what, it's been paying off. I had the Santa Fe, and look, I know it's not the most glamorous car.
Honestly, it's a great car. It was above my expectations when you showed it to me. Well, you brought it around, I went, look at this car, look at the interior, look at the exterior. It's a mini Land Rover. Like, it's the interior is amazing.
So, the Santa Fe's design is pretty, like, to a lot of people, they're like, oh my god, that's nice, or oh my god, what the hell is that thing, right? But I appreciate it because in that realm of the SUV, hybrid, small engine department, the only other competitor you have is the Kluger, which is designed to be practical. And I'm sorry, it's ugly, it's boring.
I was going to say,
Yeah, and then you've got the Kia Sorento, which is the same brand, but because Hyundai and Kia are the same, but it's not as nice, and the Hyundai was gorgeous inside. Interior was immaculate.
Yeah,
and the build quality was insane. So
what are you sort of talking price range on those things?
65, just before on-road.
But still,
that was for the elite. Yeah,
I think again a bargain of a car somewhat in that price range.
And then you got to think about it. The reason why Hyundai is designing such great cars is because they got the head of M division working for them.
Yeah, and you can tell it's paying off. I think
it's paying off. And like going back to this XM. The sales are down.
Yeah, look, they've just, I think, taken another price cut, haven't they, to try and get rid of some of them.
To get rid of some. And it is a bit disappointing. But nonetheless, I really do think BMW's design language is actually quite good. Like I think it's they're trying to make cars different. What I see when I see their cars is that someone has actually gone to the effort to design it.
Yeah.
They've put their heart and soul in it to design something completely absurd. Where all these other manufacturers are just going, we'll just add an aero part here and there and just be done with it.
Yeah, it's gone from basic to just, that's a little bit nicer. Whereas you go from a standard non-M car to an M car.
It's completely different.
Polar opposite. And I mean, for people that want to spend those kind of dollars,
it's worth it.
They want that point of
difference. You can actually go to yourself, you know what, my car is special.
Well, yeah, and they know there's a bit of that ego involved.
Yeah.
That when you're out there, you can go, everyone will know that's an M car.
Correct. It's not a A250 with a body kit.
With an AMG line pack or something. Yeah.
So that's what we're on the BMW bandwagon and Hyundai bandwagon, and it is unfortunate to see the sales drop, but we can kind of understand why.
Yeah.
Right, so at the start of the podcast, I spoke about a car that might beat the Nürburgring record.
Well, I think we might have come across it, guys. It's the new Porsche GT3 RS, but this time with an anti-racing kit on it.
Yes.
So, they've taken what we already thought was a pretty ridiculous car. I mean, obviously phenomenal engineering, and they've kind of improved on that again. So Manthey obviously been around for a while, adding kits to it, the older generation 3RSs and whatnot, and now doing one for the new one that looks
ridiculous.
Very impressive.
Well, look at that shark fin that continues from the rear window to the wing.
Yeah.
And then you've got the fully enclosed rear tyres, just to make sure for better aerodynamics. It's nuts. Yeah. That car was already a stupid car. Your GT3 RS that you had was insane.
Yes. Yeah. And look, this one they've just done, I think they've got 5 horsepower more or something. Hardly changed that, but what they've done is added a huge amount of aerodynamic downforce.
It's so much adjustments.
And so much adjustment, suspension, control.
It's a cut car for the road. We've agreed on that.
Pretty much.
It's that done.
Yeah, they've taken a cut car and pretty much said, how do we make this road legal?
And that's when we get onto the fact that this might be the testing grounds for the next Gen GT3 RS.
Correct. So look, Manthey would do some pretty crazy stuff there, and whether some of this stuff will become, modifications for the 0.2. Yeah. I was talking with a friend actually the other day at the track, and we were going, look, how else do you?
How else
do you improve this car further in a 0.2 generation? Well, I don't really know. Manthey obviously done a few things, but.
Well, didn't you tell me that some of the guys were getting slower lap records? Well, not slower lap records, slower down the straights because it has too much downforce.
Look, and that's been, I guess with Porsches and the GT3 RSs for a little bit now, is that they're not a straight line car.
No.
Down the straight, generally the 3RS will actually be slower than just the normal GT3 because of the downforce down the straight. They will actually hit as peak, high speeds down the straight because of the corners, obviously braking, corners, all that. That's where they pick up the time. And these new ones just have insane aero that you're on rails around corners. So.
Yeah. And that shark fin that continues from can you imagine seeing that on the road? And this is what shits me, right, guys? This is what shits me is that the people who buy this, so majority, I'm not going to say majority of you will take it to the track. Some of you are going to drive it to the coffee shop and back home again.
Yeah, and look. If that's why you want to buy it, sure.
Yeah, but that's just dumb.
Coming from enthusiasts like ourselves, seeing these cars not go on the track, feels like a little missed opportunity.
Well, it's a waste of a car. That is built for the track. Yeah. That one's got a bloody roll cage in it. I know these come with half roll cage. This has got a freaking full roll cage in it.
Yeah. I mean, that thing, we were talking about Nürburgring wrap times before with the AMG GT1. I think this thing's definitely going to give it a good old crack. We'll be interested to see actually where it lands in comparison.
But we'll see. Now on to this, the Porsche GT1. Yeah. So this I really, really do like. I did want to mention this. So people have seen a couple of these float around.
They've been kind of I've seen them here and there, but not really knowing what it's about. So let's have a dive.
What it is, guys, is it is a reimagination of the iconic 911 GT1 retro build, and it's by Tuttle Porsche. Tuttle Porsche. And it has
an interesting thing again.
It's 600 horsepower and it's a manual. The other interesting thing on this is what I really do like about this is it's unlike all the other retro builds. I'm not saying singles aren't nice.
We get those.
They're beautiful, right? Cars. They're amazing, right? But they're just a reimagination of a 911, and a lot of manufacturers are doing that. Like a lot of retro building companies are doing that.
Yep.
They've done a complete opposite and gotten a Le Mans car
yep.
and made it roadworthy. And
I mean, look at the thing.
It is gorgeous.
Yeah, I think everyone would own one of those if they could, but I think they're a bit pricey, and I think
they're $1 million.
They're sold out.
There's only 22 units and they're all sold. But look at the interior, the attention to look at that.
Yeah, I mean that's just ridiculous.
Like it is a very, very good looking car. But I do really like what they've done here, and this is happening a lot in the car culture world right now. They're rebuilding old classics.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, I think we look back, right, and we compare some of the old classics that we all grew up with and loved and came to know and see. And now we've gotten older, we're like, oh, we want one of those.
Yeah.
We're let's get it. Yeah. And so these companies and probably people like us older who love these cars and have gone, how can we reimagine this? How can we make this?
And make it modern engineering.
And make it fantastic car, because again, going back to what we'll talk about earlier, a lot of the cars these days are kind of same. And getting that differential is difficult, right?
Nick's not wrong there. Like, I got asked not too long ago by a friend, would I buy a modern Ferrari or a modern Lamborghini or something like that? And to be honest, when that day does come, I'd much rather build my own, because I feel like back then, like Nick was saying, there was more effort in design.
Yeah.
There was so much passion.
So many iconic cars.
Yeah, and there was so much passion, and then they poured their hearts out into a design. And now these days they just go, and look, done.
Yeah, and look, I don't know if that's just a bit of laziness over the generations that we've got to when it comes to design, but besides, like we've mentioned a couple of times, sort of your BMWs, Hyundais, and a few different people, a lot of design stuff's not really being that different. You talk about your new C63, but it doesn't even look that much different, really. Again, not trying to bash on the Mercedes bandwagon, but they are just doing sort of similar designs when it comes to their models up.
So I really do appreciate when companies do this, and I know the price tag is absurd, right? But you still can build your own retro builds yourself by sourcing parts, and a lot of people are doing that, right? You don't have to go buy a $1 million Porsche, but you can still build your own car, and I think that's where I will be later down the track, is build my own car, because it'll represent who I am, and that's what a car is. For us, a car is more than just a piece of machine. It is a representation of your characteristics as a person.
You want that engagement of something that you enjoy and you love, right? You walk out, and what's that saying when you always park your car?
The turn back.
Yeah, if you're turning back and looking at your car, well,
then you bought the right car.
You bought the right car. So, I mean, these sort of cars like this, you'd be probably not even walking away.
I think that would be in my living room.
You'd be stopped and just staring at it all day. So.
Okay, so finally on the podcast, which I'm very excited to announce, is that the Holy Trinity will be returning. Now, what we did mention with the Porsche is that what I'm speculating is, we were talking about this last week, Porsche's
on the new engine.
Put a new trademark on their new engine, right?
Yep.
So is that new engine for a 911, or is that engine for the 918 Spider replacement? Because the Holy Trinity is returning. You'll see on the next slide why I think this is happening. And also, the 918 Spider was a V8 twin turbo hybrid, right? They're not going to do a V8 again. We know that. They're kind of done with V8s, Porsches. I don't think they're going to do that with the next one.
Look, is there a V8 in any of their current gen stuff?
No. So what I think is that trademark, I don't really think it's for an 911. I think it's for...
the 918.
918 Spider. It's for that. It's literally going to go on that.
Yeah.
Right, so
that would be pretty exciting if we see something.
And I think that's going to be twin turbocharged. It's going to be a hybrid again. I don't know what Ferrari's doing at the moment. I have seen tests, like around Maranello, there has been a camouflaged LaFerrari successor, but we don't know what it is. I don't know if Ferrari are going to make a full hybrid, because the LaFerrari wasn't really a hybrid. I love how the Italians made a hybrid, but it wasn't really a hybrid. When they got asked, why can't you run the car on electric mode only? They asked, why would you want to do that?
Yeah. Sounds like a standard Ferrari response.
Why would you want to do that?
Why would you want
They
to
literally only use the electric motor for one purpose: make the car faster.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
They didn't care about it being, ecological, like their emissions, or they didn't care about that stuff. All they cared about was, electric motor makes car faster. Good.
Done.
That's it. The unfortunate thing is, I don't think it'll be a V12, which will be really sad.
Yeah, but
because Ferraris, we know this. The pinnacle of all Ferraris is a naturally aspirated, high revving V12. That is its signature soundtrack.
Yeah.
And it's
a desired engine or note probably for most enthusiasts.
Yeah.
When they hear that, I'd love one of those.
Yes.
So, definitely.
So, moving on to the next part, and this is what we're going to be talking about. McLaren has just released the successor to the P1. So the Holy Trinity
W1
is returning with the introduction, firstly, from McLaren with the W1, making 1,275 horsepower.
Yeah.
Which is insane, right?
Yes.
It's just 988 pounds-feet of torque. That is just absolutely, it's like 346 horsepower on its own from the electric motor.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty phenomenal.
Like, that is just ridiculous,
Yeah.
right? Now, it's got a 4-litre twin-turbo V8. Well, now, McLaren's always done their V8 twin-turbos with the hybrid system, but that V8's obviously churning out way more power than any of their natural, like their current V8.
Currently, what do you got? The 750, I think is the most recent. So 750 horsepower. So they're taking that, obviously cranking it up and adding an electric to it.
And then you've got, which is the astounding thing, is it weighs 3,000 pounds, but that's not the biggest thing. The biggest thing, guys, is that the power to weight ratio is 899 brake horsepower per metric ton. That is like eye-watering. Like, so this thing, I would love to see this go around the track.
Oh.
I'd love to see what that does around the Nürburgring.
I mean, that thing's going to be a ridiculously fast car.
I'm just going to click over here and show you. So this rear wing,
Oh, yeah.
it tucks away, comes out, and fully deploys for way more. Like it's.
And when you got your aero brake on your current gen runs, right?
Yeah.
When braking, it pops up, it helps you with your braking. Be interested to see what this actually adds when it's doing that as well. So, I mean, but look at this. It's a phenomenal looking car. Absolutely amazing. And pretty exciting news if they're bringing this.
It means they're not dying.
Yeah.
Nick's mentioned this before. The good thing about this coming out, and it's kind of making us feel like the Holy Trinity will return.
Yeah.
It means they're not dying out. Yes, engine downsizing is happening.
But, they're still committed to performance cars.
Yeah.
They're still committed to making
Pricing will be absolutely absurd.
As you'd expect.
Because it is a hypercar. But it's astonishing.
Yeah.
And this gives me hope that like high performance cars aren't dying.
And this might be just the start of seeing some other cars being released, the Porsche, the Ferraris and whatnot coming up. They're hopefully currently being developed. So, exciting times, guys.
So, we'll finish the podcast on that, guys. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed it. For more information, go to our Instagram. Again, don't forget the Cars and Coffee event.
Yep.
But don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll catch you on another episode of Car Talk.